Good afternoon, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and whatever time it
Hey,
is.
guess what? We have another guest from where? New York. Just saying.
Oh,
Another
is
one from
is
New
he
York.
is he actually from New York, Stephen?
He's not like from the city. He's like upstate New York, which is like
Ah, so
Canada,
the,
like
so he
Buffalo.
so,
It doesn't
so
even
he.
count.
Oh, come
So
on. So he's strictly speaking then a 50 cents,
he's a 50
New
center.
York,
Yeah. New York
50
City, we
cents.
get the dollar. Yeah. The state
Yeah.
just gives us 50 cents to promote it. But yeah, he's not like listen, we'll give him credit. At least he's in the state of New York. So, but
Okay.
he's so
Okay.
close to the Canadian border, from what I understand. They literally see Canada. Like Sarah Palin used to see Russia. Same kind of closeness, I think. But they're really
Yeah.
like they're like 2 miles away from the border or something, and they smuggle illegal aliens in and out with Ron DeSantis. I heard, and the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very
Okay.
exciting. But
Right.
Michael, and you're going to introduce him because you have
Oh,
this whole bio.
no, do I?
So
I have, but I know nothing,
okay,
Stephen.
well, Michael's going to talk to us about remote work, and he wrote this whole cool bio that's going to be below here when we start
And
talking.
what's interesting then is that he's doing that remotely.
He is. And here's the other cool thing that we're about to start with. We're going to bring him in and we're going to
Yeah.
start with a controversial topic. And Michael
Oh,
already knows it because we already say, Michael, because we started to
hi,
talk about
Michael.
this. But there's two things we have to discuss. One is his hair, because his hair was done by his girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
And we
my
will,
my woman. Be very clear. My
go, your
woman.
woman, your woman.
My
What are you, a
woman.
caveman?
She would. That was not her request. That's her
Okay.
request.
Ah,
She'd be livid if anybody said girlfriend. It's much more.
Okay, your woman, and here's the best part: he's wearing polka dots, and his
I was
woman
just,
just read a whole thing today about polka dots. His woman,
yeah,
by
I
the
was
way,
just,
everybody, is Noosh, the
it's
lady who
noosh.
does Noosh fits
I
the
was
That's
human
just
right.
thinking,
fabric.
are you so poor that you have to share jumpers or something? Like she
Yeah, she
had
does.
to,
She took this right off.
yeah. I mean, that's the advantage, of course, of remote working, that you can wear other people's clothes and no one would
And
know.
no one would know. Well, the thing is, it's Shabbat, and so on Shabbat we often wear the same style of
Yeah.
clothes. As
Okay.
That's
Well,
that's for the Jew, for the non-Jews out there. That's our
because
Friday
that,
night, the
I
Shabbat.
was
Yeah,
going
they
to
don't
say
know.
that
Friday.
that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm afraid. So,
Well,
oh, just
go to the
you
Anne
know,
Frank house. Anyway, the other thing
you,
of controversy that
but
we're going to start
you have
with.
to queue up to get into there, Stephen.
I know I
So,
don't queue up for anything. Are you kidding?
No, he doesn't keep.
So
yeah,
people are dying to get in. Boom, boom, boom. I'm here till Thursday. Thank you. So here's the thing that's interesting. We were talking before we got on air about 5 December in
yeah, that's
Amsterdam,
the
Holland. So we're going to start off controversial, and then we're going to actually talk about why Michael's really here is to promote polka dot sweaters. No, to promote remote work and what he can do to help people and train them to be better to do remote work. But tell us
yeah.
about 5 December, Dave. Tell us why this is controversial.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Well, this debate has been going on in Holland, and it's basically to do with two things. The first one is that the Dutch feel very strongly, or a high percentage of the Dutch people feel very strongly that it's a tradition, this particular act, and it's something that they should keep. It's something that is considered to be taken away from them, or hijacked from them by the wokes. Um, and basically, what it comes down to is that this children's festival of 5 December, you have a gentleman called St. Nicholas,
Mhm.
who's dressed very
Oh,
much
that-
like a Catholic bishop. He has a staff and in the
A
mitre and everything
pedophile.
else.
Okay, got it, got it. Good, good, good.
And he comes into Holland traditionally then in these last years on a steamboat with his helpers. And when I first came to Holland, all these helpers were basically, very, very noble Dutch people who wanted to be part of this festival, but they were predominantly white guys. And they would black themselves up, like L. Johnson, and that has caused a lot of controversy here through the latter years that I've been here. The last 10 or 12 years, it's sort of really taken off. Also, comments out from the US, comments from the UK. I mean, when I was a teenager, we used to have a show on BBC called Black and White Minstrel Show, which was white girls dancing and all white guys blacking themselves up. Um, to
Wow.
make themselves look like they're of color, and it was a musical show, so that's what they hid behind. um yeah, and so there's a lot of controversy here, and I like always as ever I like poking bears, and in which case I like poking Dutch people as well. And I always say to them, well, you know, who is this guy, and are they helpers? And if they are helpers, why are they then just traditionally people of color? It looks very much and smells very much like as if he's trading with slaves. He brings his own slaves here, and of course you can imagine that doesn't make me very popular at Dutch birthday and 5 December parties.
Wait a minute, that's not what makes you popular. That doesn't make you popular. That just
Yeah.
not like okay. That doesn't make you popular.
Yeah, because I say, is this the festival of the old slave driver and
I mean, you're just
and
gonna,
he
just
tells
gonna
us,
say it, and I'm glad we don't have to touch too deeply on that controversial across the pond topic.
Because they do have a compromise here. I'll give them that because now that traditionally they said, well, okay, these helpers are black. Because they've been up and down chimneys, bringing all these, which is sort of related in a very sort of loose way to Father Christmas and him climbing up and down chimneys, that sort of stuff. And so they have a name for them which refers to the word soot. As names for these helpers, they're all called Pete. So we've got to help Pete and all sorts of different sort of Petes. Pete is like John or James or Steve or whatever, or David. It's just a generic name. And now they have this sort of compromise where people just sort of put a little bit of almost like camouflage on their face. Some people in the gay community are be doing the rainbow colors as well to show the diversity of what's happening, and that we've moved a little bit forward on that. So even on TV we don't see it anymore, but this is something for the last 5 or 10 years. But the big hoo-ha is it's our tradition, and they should all look like they looked like when I was a child.
Right.
So for me, that just sounds a lot like, well, everybody was racist when I was a child, so they should be racist now because that's how things were. Anyway, that's me.
It's like you don't want your grandparents to go to the party because you don't want them to say the wrong thing.
Yeah,
same type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good that things are evolving over there. The evolution is always good.
Not much, Michael. Let's just say it's not much. No, there's still not much. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, the crazy thing, of course, is that it's Holland and nobody expects this here. They don't. It's supposed to be a very liberal country. And I've in 35 odd years I've been here. I've seen liberalism been eroding every year a little bit. It was a lot more liberal when I came in the 80s. So yeah.
There you go. And then he says the 80s. He means in the 17 or 1380s. He's never been really specific about that. So
1580s.
He saw the West Indian Company form. He was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's in the original book.
Yeah. East Indian Company.
There you go. So enough about the Dutch and their racism and that they have no sense of humor, but they do like to put their fingers in dikes. And so do I, by the way. Sure.
Yeah. There's several books written. There's several books written on that, Stephen, to show you how to do it.
Putting my finger in a dike. I'm going to buy one of those books.
But
you dikes out there, I'm coming to plug you up. Anyway,
as far as I can remember, you saw that film somewhere in New York, I think, didn't you?
I see everything in New York, yes, because New York's the only place to ever be. So Mr. Michael is with us, and I've known Michael for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
we sat on a charity. We sat on a board together to save the planet, and that didn't work. So now we've decided to be capitalists and destroy the planet and make billions of dollars. So I'm just kidding. So Michael's like, that's a fair assessment.
So which bit of the puzzle did I miss then? I literally am the I'm not even going to say the word now, but I'm the one in the middle.
Oh, you kinky guy, you like being in the middle. So Michael has
it's a Jewish sandwich.
It's a Jewish sandwich. Michael's Italian though. His girlfriend is Jewish,
right.
Or his woman is Jewish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
The nice thing is when they fight, they don't know who to invade. At least none of them are German. Anyway, so Michael has this. He's doing remote work. Michael and I were talking. He goes, people don't know how to do remote work. And I was like, well, then you should do something. And now he's done something. So Michael is going to tell like
Yeah,
how you remote work, why you do it, how to do it better, how to like be a boss, how to be an employee. And this is what this is all about. We figured we would do a show that would help people out.
Yeah, Michael,
Exactly.
because I don't want to be. It's always me who seems to be the boring old fart on this one.
He
But
is
it
really
just
boring.
it just seems to be so pretty obvious. Remote working.
You'd think so.
Tell me why it isn't.
You'd think so. So, I mean, first of all, I love that. I love being on the show. It's great that you guys have this. I feel like on those radio shows when they used to say, long time listener, first time caller.
Right.
We remember those days, but that's how I've been following the show for a little while because of you, Stephen. It's great.
Oh, thank you very much, Michael. When's the show finishing?
So anyway, so Bendicoot, I mean, what we're doing is there's a lot of untapped potential living here in rural America. I mean, we're an hour from Albany and not too close to the Canada border, but we're out there. And what I noticed as a remote worker, I've been a remote worker for 8 years, in the tech industry for 15 years. And there's a lot of untapped talent because people don't realize how much opportunity there is now that remote work has opened up. So what Bendicoot is doing is teaching people not only how to get those jobs, but how to thrive in those remote working jobs.
Michael, has this come about then via COVID, or is this technology which has pushed this forward?
No, it's definitely COVID. It's well said that technology has been, this remote world was accelerated by COVID, but it was already on that track. I mean, at one point before COVID, there was probably 1 out of 10 remote workers. And then during COVID, it was 1 out of 2. And now post-COVID, they're thinking 20 to 30% of the workforce is going to stay remote for the duration. And that's a huge opportunity for people, especially getting into entry-level tech positions, because there are things in marketing, in sales, in operations, people who want to deal with spreadsheets. There's a lot of opportunity to just get into the tech industry as a remote worker, because you don't need to be from a big city anymore. You don't necessarily even have to go to a particular college. You just have to have the relevant experience, the passion, and the drive to do it. And so that's what I'm unlocking there.
I will tell you this. When I worked for a company many years ago, we were doing remote work before it was fashionable. And I found that my finance team, which was pretty funny, on Fridays would be like, because the traffic sucked. And they'd be like, can we not come in on Fridays? And I said, as long as you get your work done,
right,
I don't care what you do. And they're like, okay. So I would find that they would be, by the time they got to traffic in the office, they'd come at 6, 7 in the morning. They'd leave at 3 or 4 because they want to be, it's Friday, which was fine. But what I found on Fridays when they would be remote, they would start at 5 or 6 in the morning. And then I wouldn't hear from them, just say from about 10 to 1. Because they're spending time with the kids, their loved ones, having lunch, don't care. They get their work done. Mm-hmm. And then they'd come back around 1:32, and some of them would work till 7 or 8 at night or even midnight. And they were into like the following week. So when they would say, can we do this every Friday? I'm like, yeah, I don't care if you never come in. But excuse me, we'd still make them come in. But sometimes what I think people don't realize is sitting with them, they don't work as well because everyone has their own pace. I know people that are more comfortable to sit in their bed and work all day. Mm-hmm. I know other people like me that want to be at a desk, and you have the crossovers. And it's just, if people understand that and bosses understand that. Now, granted, there's some jobs where you have to be there.
You have to be there, sure. Right. And that's why particularly, so Bendicoot is the first 3 courses that we're launching. Well, there's actually 4. The first one is just a free course, Understanding the Opportunity in the Tech Industry, because there's so much opportunity in tech. Even with all the stuff that's going on now, there's just a lot of investment happening there. And there's a lot of opportunity for people who want to break into it, because the tech industry, I think in general, is open-minded, progressively thinking, and wants to bring in creative and new perspectives into a company. So starting into tech, breaking into tech, there's opportunity there. But the next 3 courses are actually showing you how to choose what direction you want to go in, because there are a lot of entry points into tech. The second course is then telling you, once you've chosen where you want to go, what job you want to do, like a sales development representative or a marketing manager, then it actually helps you. We're going to help you actually get into that job through the interview process, through your LinkedIn profile, through the actual signing of the offer. And then the third part of that is how do you master remote work? Because I've been doing it for a long time. I've been very fortunate with the tech industry, and there are tips and tricks. There are tips and tricks to doing it right in terms of connecting with other people at the company, in terms of getting your work done, in terms of the personal discipline. It takes a certain kind of person who wants to work remotely, but for the people who do it, it can be very lucrative and very fulfilling.
Very cool. And so tell us a
So,
little more about the courses. So there's 4 courses, one's free. And then if someone gets the free course, and I'm assuming we have a link down here for the free course, and then and somebody's like, okay, I like this, I want to pay for the next 3 courses. What are we charging them for these 3 courses?
Well, the 3 courses alone are, if you're just picking one course at a time, it's $185 each. But if you buy the whole bundle just to go through it and just get a job in tech, figure out where you want to go and master it, that's only $450. And that includes the workbooks, and that includes the resources to point you to different directions about how to even just spin yourself up into tech, what podcasts you should be listening to, and what online resources you should have.
Well, that's just crazy. We know a podcast, 2 old farts making noises. Let's like, yeah, we know that.
Besides the 2 old farts.
Oh, okay. Just making sure, because
that's an important staple on there. That's
there you go. I figured as much.
Yeah.
We're going to check his material and make sure that.
That's right. Right after.
So, right after, we'll be checking everything out. So,
yeah.
Michael, I just wondered if there's a course necessary for employers, because you know, what was it today or something? Elon Musk wants everybody to come back into the office and work those 40 hours a week of, you know, I mean, for something, cultural. It's a trust thing.
Yeah.
And for some reason or another, people who have their own businesses, I would say to people, I've had my own business in the past, and I'd say, well, if I can't trust people to work, why have I employed them in the first place?
Yeah.
And and so I need to, I think there's a real need for people for bosses to understand what it means. I think that we're probably going more towards a hybrid, certainly in Europe, because the distances are a lot easier. But I mean, I could go from Rotterdam to Amsterdam. I could be an hour and a half just to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
And in the US, I'd be as far as some people go to get a bottle of milk.
Yeah. Well, we're focusing. We're starting with the start of the focus is on New York State, because New York State, we've just living here with Nushana, living in this area. I mean, there's a lot of untapped potential in these woods. So we want to.
That sounds horrible.
It's untapped. It's untapped. It's got to be tapped. You got to get it out.
There you go. That's what I say to everybody. I mean, I got to tap you. Go ahead.
You got to say that.
I mean something completely different to tap somebody up, but there you go.
I know. Thank you very little.
But yeah, I mean, we're starting in the New York area, and we're starting with people, with particularly young people under 24, because that actually has the highest unemployment rate. We're talking about 10% almost in that age group who are unemployed. And then imagine all the people who are underemployed doing jobs that they're just doing just to get a paycheck or just to get that hourly wage. So,
but you need a lot of kit to do that, though, to work remotely. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, Holland was very quick in getting glass fiber everywhere and getting broadband. So we have really quick, easy connections, which has enabled certainly the Dutch to be a little bit. I mean, it was amazing. In the middle of COVID, you'd go out and there would be about 3 people and a dog.
Yeah,
because everybody else were told to stay at home if they could, and they did. So, but a lot of people say I can't do it because I don't have the kit to do it, the computer or the broadband.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, you do need some. You could take the course on a smartphone. You could apply for jobs on a smartphone. Even a very basic computer. So you don't need a lot to get the job. And the internet is an issue. I mean, this is why in rural America they're pushing for broadband infrastructure, and that's why part of my vision is as Bendicoot grows, I actually want to advocate for more infrastructure, internet infrastructure in non-urban areas, because it opens up opportunity for them just with the flip of a switch, and they deserve that opportunity just like every American. So I view the internet access as kind of a basic right, and that does need to be part of the advocacy for it.
So
Yeah.
now that you started this, so in New York, and I know you live in the middle of nowhere, New York, because we always make fun of you.
Yeah,
You're
we'll
cutting
cover that
trees.
next time.
Yeah, so millions of times when we've talked. So if in that area, like we're just in a 50-mile radius, are
Yeah.
people liking the course? As the state of New York like the course? Or like, I think it's fascinating that you want to start in New York. I would have started in West Virginia where they play the banjo and have no teeth, but that's just me. But I mean, so are they enjoying it? I mean, then after New York, are you looking like, and I'm just thinking where things are really remote, like a Wyoming, a Montana, where people are really spread.
And part of the reason why we're starting New York is just because I'm here. This is where a
Okay.
lot of my connections are, but it's really open. The course is certainly open to anybody who wants to get into remote tech of any age group.
Okay.
Those are only the targets because that's where we wanted to start and focus. But the course itself isn't released until January 1st. It's the pre-sale is happening right now. So
Okay.
that $450, which gives you all those bonuses, is the pre-sale price before January 1st. So the course is being written now. And I do have a client who I'm working with to at least already to get her into the tech industry. And, I'm testing some of that material with people at that level. So the material is coming out and it's not out yet.
Okay. So everybody that's listening to this, because this show will air, I think it'll either be the 8th or the 13th of December, because we're recording it in November. So you'll be closer to fruition. Right. This is a week before Thanksgiving, everybody. So the show's about 3 weeks, goes out 3 weeks later. The nice thing is then most of your stuff will be done. And then I'm assuming the client that you're helping now will almost be like your alpha test. Like you'll know, and you'll be able to say, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. And then when someone else comes in, that's it. And then do they get one-on-one instruction as well when they buy the course? Or is it read the book? If you have a question, there's an 800 number or chat, or how do they if I have a question, if I take your course, how do I learn? Like, who do I talk to?
Yeah. I mean, the online course alone is its own package, but you can certainly we can arrange group coaching and one-on-one coaching. That's how I'm perceiving it.
Okay.
For the people who want that extra instruction, but it is very much an involved course. There's a workbook for it. There's steps that you have to do. And it's a lot of just testing it out and getting out there and going back and forth. I mean, you have to just get out and do the work. But
that's very cool.
When people see it and do it, I mean, like I said, the amount of money that's out there, the benefits that come with remote work, the flexibility and the fulfillment that come with it, it's just it's an opportunity that I think more people need to know about, and that's why I'm doing this.
I like it. That is very awesome.
Did you write the coursework yourself, Michael?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm doing it myself now. I've taken other courses already to see what else was out there. One of them was from Harvard on remote work because I want to capture all the best practices about remote work and put it into this course too. So I'm aggregating a lot of my own knowledge of people that I've worked with, and then knowledge that I'm seeing from other courses that I've taken and that I've looked at. So it's just, it feels like the way that it's been organized in other places, I haven't seen many people organize it where you're directing people into a remote tech industry job that's not engineering, that's not programming. And as you know, these tech companies, or maybe you don't know, but these tech companies, they have so many non-technical positions. I mean, I'm in sales. I've been in sales for 15 years. There's marketing positions, there's operations, there's HR, and there's all the support structure that goes around these amazing technologies that need to be supported by people who are doing non-technical jobs. So it's very accessible if you just focus on it. And this hopefully helps people focus on it and get into it.
On a practical side, I started off really during COVID here. I think they started paying people a ridiculously stupid amount of money, like €2.50 to stay at home to cover your home costs. I mean, we're living in at the moment in the middle of an energy crisis where our personal energy bill has gone up 500%. So it makes just keeping the heating on a lot more difficult. And I don't particularly live in a super cold place. So what happens then if you're living in, if you're at home all day,
Hmm.
you have to keep the heating on, you
Hmm.
have to pay for your broadband, etc.,
Hmm.
etc. Is that a price tag that would be picked up by your employer? Do you think, because
Some employers
yeah,
do it. Some
yeah,
employers offer funding for home offices.
okay,
Some companies are offering just to pay for your utilities, to pay for your Wi-Fi. Not everybody, but there are companies that are doing it, and there's a whole range. I mean, part of what I cover in the course is there's a whole range of potential benefits that you get in the tech industry, like unlimited paid time off or health benefits. And I'm also educating people on that so that they know that that you can get an
yeah.
array of these things to help improve
Because
your life.
that would be like the first thing for me, So okay, I work remotely. He said, yeah, but it's okay. I got a little bit of travel,
Yeah.
um, but then I got to sit in a warm office all day.
Well,
But if I'm at home, I got to sit here at home. I got to eat my own cookies, drink my own coffee. I
uh-huh.
mean,
It's a shift. It's a shift. Yeah, it's a shift.
yeah, and
You
I
have to
mean,
have it's a certain person to do it. I mean, who wants to, you have to learn. I mean, part of the technique is just getting on the phone sometimes. I mean, people, if you, sometimes it's not, you don't want to negotiate everything through email when you're a remote worker. Sometimes you just pick up the phone or make a quick Slack message and just get on the video and just do it like that. So it does take a certain person who wants to do it. But like I said, it's lucrative. I mean, there's the
yeah,
tech industry is a very exciting space because it has influence on so many areas of the world. And so, as a tech industry proponent, I think that there's a lot of space for people to get into it and not have to worry about their heating bills because they're earning so much in salary and bonuses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we hope they're wearing that, making stuff in salary and bonuses.
yeah,
You
I think
got, I mean,
that's,
you got, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
At least you have the opportunity to do it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very meritocratic. You've got to put in the work. You've got to produce what you're supposed to produce, but you're rewarded for it. And that's why I
Right.
think it's a very exciting industry for a lot of people.
yeah.
No, I agree. I think I listen, I've been very fortunate. I've been remote working since the 1980s because of my job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's before
That's
we had
only
all
because
this.
people don't like you in the office, Stephen. That's
Well,
what it
that's
is.
very, they don't like me in general. So it works out well for me.
It's just
But no,
just
so I'm all for it, but it is a discipline. And like I said, I found with certain team members, it's like they'll work 3 hours a day, but in those 3 hours, I get 20 hours worth of work. I'm like, I don't care what you do as long as it's done.
It's
yeah,
Like,
done.
so, you answer your email, you answer your phone. I'm okay with that. But if it only takes you 3 hours a day, it takes everybody else 10. Great.
And that's the
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's part what people also have to understand. And I think employers need to understand sometimes superstars are not going to want to sit in an office all day because it's boring.
Mhm.
And they're going to be like, I can work at home and get this all done. And I can be done in 3 hours and still have a full, if you will, a full-time job and answer my emails and answer my phone calls. But if I want to go do something or go to a 2 hour, they can go do it and they can still be productive. And that's what I found
yeah.
out with a lot of people that really like that independence. And once you know they can really do it, let them run rampant because all the work gets done and it's awesome.
It gets
Yeah,
done.
but
It gives you the
it's
space to do it.
Yeah.
exactly, and again, it's
Yes.
all about trust, and that's why I think it's also, the thing that struck me. I mean, you're a guest on the show, so we try and be as complimentary as we can to our guests. Stephen and I
Except
have a
for that
different.
sweater and
Yeah,
the haircut and stuff. We're not
yeah,
gonna like
well,
let's not
yeah,
get carried
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Most
Apart from
you
that,
ask
but
people, that's
I know
before you
the
came
woman,
on,
yes.
although you did send me stuff before, I generally don't read. I only do the profiles after we've interviewed people because
Yep.
I like to be surprised, I'm genuinely excited for you, Michael. I think you've touched on something which could be of great value, but like I say, the niggling stone in my shoe is
yeah.
it seems to be that people just don't have enough trust in the people that they employ to do it, and there are, and but
I would love to become an
it's
advocate for the remote worker.
yeah, it's great also that you cover like the practicalities of it, like ask about your utility bills, ask about because it is your, like I say, it's your coffee, it's your heating, it's your
Well,
cookies.
I will tell you that if you go to LinkedIn and you look at some of them, they will tell you they'll give you like a
Some
$2,000
stipend.
computer
Yeah.
allowance, and they give you
Yeah.
this and they give you that. So, I mean, they understand. Like in New York, we have a business. So part of the thing that our employees will say is like, "Do I get a Metro card?" So like every month we pay them, if you will, their $100 or whatever it might be for their
Right.
Metro card, so they can get to work. Right? That's just
Yeah.
that's what you just do.
It's a perk.
So
It's nice.
yeah, little
It
things
feels
that you
nice.
do for
It feels
people.
nice to get a perk. I mean, let's face
Right.
it. It's real.
You
know,
want
it's
people
a
to
gesture
understand
too.
that you want your employees to feel that they really are part of a team and it's not just like you're working for us and that's it. And I
Well,
find remote workers, a lot of them, like when we had the company and we had remote workers in Ireland, they went in an office every day because they liked it,
yeah.
which is fine. But we would talk to them every day. Like I'd
Yeah.
say, what's going on? And you have to make them feel, and that's what I don't think employers know how to do. You have to make,
I agree.
whether they're
I
in the
agree.
office or out of the office, you have to make them feel valuable, and you have to understand, and you have to have an open door policy for them as well.
Yes.
So like in an office, someone can come and go, I want to talk to you. Okay, well, remote
It's got to
work,
be the same
if you
way.
want to talk to me, it's got to be the same way. And I
Yeah.
used to joke, I used to get to the office at 5 a.m. and from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. I would work. And from 8 to 5, I did my other job, which was babysitting. And then again at 5 at night till 8 at night, I would do my work.
Yeah.
And that's how, and it's same with remote work.
Yeah.
But you have to be there for them because if there's an issue, it'll escalate. And I'm not big on, and I know people hate when I say this, I don't like text messaging. I don't like what's up, all of it. And most of you guys that know me, I will leave you voicemails unless it's like, yes, no, hey, we'll talk to you type of thing. But if it's anything longer than a sentence, I leave you a voicemail there. I don't like Slack for the same reason. And I saw this happen once when people were talking on a Slack chat about something and someone thought they made a funny comment. And everyone's like, oh my God. And I was like, it's a funny comment. They're like, no, that's not the way it was taken. I'm like, no. And I said, no
Yeah.
more. Done.
That's right.
So all this
I
stuff
get
is
that as well.
ridiculous.
People say, "Why is it in capital letters?" And I said, "Well,
Yeah.
because I forgot to take the caps lock off."
Yeah.
But yeah, but
I
you're
think
shouting. But
veteran
you're
remote
shouting.
workers would agree with you. Veteran remote workers would agree with you is that
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Or get on a call or get on a Zoom and just do it because
it's so easy. I'm old school, Michael, and you and I have had this dialogue, right? What do I always say to you? Pick up the phone, kick in the door, you go forward. That's it, point blank. That's the first time we met. We were talking about something. I said, listen, you kick in the door, you go forward, or you pick up the phone, and you just go going forward, forward, forward. You can fix your mistakes. So between Zoom and a phone, I can call anybody on the planet and say, hey, I need 30 seconds. And because of Zoom now, I can actually see when I'm talking to you. And I like that because I can see what you're thinking. Phone is good if I'm on the run and you're on the run. But if you both have 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, Zoom is like, boom, that quick. You could do it on your phone. And I can see how you're doing when you're talking to me or vice versa. And I can adjust my thought based on what I see.
Yeah.
And then employers don't know how to do that because I don't care if they're 20-year-old or 120-year-old. They're so stuck on that. You have to be at your desk. No, you don't.
You guys gave me another course to write. I mean, seriously, after I finish this course, the next course maybe should be for employers because I'm
absolutely.
Employers,
Absolutely.
I've been very fortunate to have employers that embraced remote work, that embraced me as a remote worker. I mean, my first job at Relayware was where I started going as a remote worker because I did the same thing. I started off by saying, can I work from home on Fridays? I had an hour commute. And I said, I work from home on Fridays. And then it became Mondays. Then it said, well, why don't I just come into the office when it's needed? And so that's when I transitioned into being a remote worker, which was 8 years ago. And I was very fortunate that I had the kind of office to support that and the kind of people to support that and my own self. I mean, my own predilection to being able to do that, work from home.
And it's not really that. And I don't think people realize it's not that hard. You need internet and a laptop. Most employers will give you the laptop. Most of them will give you a phone. They'll give you a phone. They'll give you a laptop. They'll pay your internet. I mean, like they'll pay for most of it. The problem is on the employer side is once again, I just don't think, and whether you're 20 or you're 120 number, I don't think people know how to manage. Like I'm listening to Elon Musk going, everyone must be in the office. Everyone must do this. Goldman Sachs is like, everybody needs to now come back in.
Right.
And what I found during the pandemic is, if you're a junior banker, yes, you need to be there with a senior guy who's going to teach you. You're not going to learn remotely. You need someone to go, no, Johnny, for 5 years. And then you're like, ooh, I can do it. In a law firm, I get it. But there's some jobs like, no, you don't. Like we have to do deals. And during pandemic, you couldn't travel. And I said to one of my partners, I said, you know how much money we just saved in travel this year? And we Zoomed everybody. And the attorneys didn't have to go. The account, we all did it on Zoom. We set up data rooms. It was like, this is simple. I mean, fun to travel. Been doing it forever.
That's
but
right.
At the end of the day, it's a new world now, right? And I get that. But there's certain jobs, yes. Like if you're going to be a surgeon, you can't do that remotely. You need to be there. I'm assuming you, not yet. I'm assuming at some point you will. But I'm just saying, right. But an investment banker, doctors, nurses for now, let's assume lawyers. There's certain jobs where you have to be like a masseuse. You have to be hands-on.
Yeah.
So other jobs, no, if I'm a customer service rep, there's no reason why I can't be on a screen like this. My supervisor's here, I'm here, and they're teaching me how to handle a phone call or how to do this or how to do that. There's no reason for that. I mean, there's a lot of, and employers need to embrace that. Like Musk saying you must be here. I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're missing out because you're the guy who would love to work at home and work a 100-hour work week for you is now going to come in and go, yeah, I'll give you your effing 40 hours, pal. Yeah. And that's all you're going to get. Like he's not thinking. He's like thinking very much in a box.
A lot of people are even just leaving under that regime.
Yeah. So. Well, that's the crazy thing because if there's, I firmly believe that if you that the problem is you think, oh, these people, I'm a boss, and they're just thinking about how their bosses were before they became boss of something. Mm-hmm. And it's it's the 1970s, 1980s mentality. Be at your desk, sit down, sit up, and shut up. That's how I when I was first at work. But now it's all changed, and I think there are a lot of companies, and I'm a great advocate for it as well. It's like this is my task. This is what I have to do, and this is my timeline. And we have a huge organization in The Hague, the European Patent Office. Which employs thousands of people, and they have so many tasks they have to do a month, and then the office is open from 6 a.m, I think, until 10 p.m, and you can just come in whenever you like if you need to, as long as you get the tasks done. And I think, well, what a refreshing way to be in the business.
That's true. It's true. And I think the one of the things that I think people need to recognize is we need our governments to also support this. We need our government officials to also support the idea of remote work and encourage, because we have economic development corporations all over the state of New York and all over the country. And these economic development corporations are also a venue to help employers get up to speed on how to manage remote workers. And so it's not just organizations like Bendicoot that can do it, but we need to get the whole ecosystem of the professional world to recognize that there are some cases where remote work is going to be the way that people want to do it. And we need to create organizations that support that. Because I think you ultimately get more out of people when they're in their comfortable environment, when they're focused and they're working in the way that they're used to working, that they're most effective working.
Right. Well, back in the 80s, there were companies that would you wouldn't have a desk. You'd have like a bar stool, and you would come in and you'd work as needed. So there's been companies that have been doing it now with the technology the way it is. Yeah. And sharing and split shifts. And so there's tons of it. It's just that, I think the oligarchs of the tech industry and the world, the Facebooks and the Twitters, we own you. Not really. We joke with our employees all the time. Like I always say to them, Lincoln did nothing for you. I own you, yada, yada. And they know I'm joking, but they also know if there's a problem, you come to me, we fix everything. But these tech industries, they're just like, we're God and you're nothing. If the public tomorrow decides not to use Twitter or Facebook or any of these others, even Amazon, right? You're screwed. And the revenues are coming down now. So I think even Tim Cook at Apple was like, I want all my employees back. Right. Why? Yeah. Just because you built this mausoleum to Apple out in the middle and wherever in Silicon Valley. And actually, I stayed across the street from it once. It's very nice. I'm glad you spent $1 billion on it. But why? There's empty, people are not renewing leases. It's like they're finding out, how much money I can save in real estate if I don't own it the minute that I don't have to people at a desk. And some people are going to thrive in it. And other people, I can have a smaller footprint as an office and have my 20 people that have to be there.
The big company. So one of the things I cover in the course as well is the difference between a well-established company and a startup, because there is a difference between what a startup's going to do, the culture at a startup versus a well-established company. And I've generally worked at startups. And so I have more of experience in that realm. And the people that I know at larger companies, some of that different culture, more
Right.
structure and more layers and certainly more support in certain ways.
Right.
But yeah, there is a difference between how the big companies are handling it and how startups are handling it. And I think there's also, just in tech industry in general, startups offer great opportunities for people who are just getting started because they're willing to take a chance on potential, on opportunity, on somebody who they see the opportunity, they see the potential in them, and they want to give them a chance.
No, I agree 100%. I think it's very cool. I'm hoping this is a big success. And once you get one or two students that graduate,
That's right.
and do stuff, you can bring them on the show. We can interview them and how the course did and everything. And I think that would help people. So, and I think a lot of people are going to be like, it's like whatever. So like this lady you're helping now, when she gets a gig, we'll bring her on. She'll tell us how the course went, and that would be good. And then that's like a validation, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, where did the name come from, by the way?
Yeah. Well, have you heard of the game Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah.
That is where it was inspired by, because the Crash Bandicoot game, which is a 20-year saga of video gaming, it's actually a very clever game. You actually have to do some puzzles, and you have to get certain activities in order to actually win the game. So it's almost like the game of life, the game of getting into the tech industry. You have to solve the puzzles, you have to do it in a certain way, and you have to have fun with it, which is what.
Okay, it's not something that you were doing while you were supposed to be remote working then.
Yes, he was doing it while he was remote working for somebody else. Yes, Dave. That's how everybody does remote work.
Thanks for pointing that out.
When you're remote work, the good thing is you could work in 12 different jobs at once.
But it's one of those crazy things. I mean, Stephen and I have been been nearly a year, I think, getting up to a year that we've been, and we've never met.
Yeah. Well, that's by design.
By design. And
I've known Michael 2 or 3 years now, and I've never met.
Right, that's right. We haven't met in person. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but he and Noosh are going to come to the city and come to the restaurant. So I think we're going to try. I'm going to try to be there that week. So they'll come and have some dumplings, and we'll go.
We will definitely arrange that. Yeah.
There you go. And by the way, everybody, that's Dim Sum Darling, 135 West 50th Street, right around the corner from Rockefeller Center. Be there at B Square. Anyway, great dumplings and bacon, all this Asian food at the Urban Hawk.
I saw that movie, by the way.
I did too. Yeah.
The final note, guys, is just on this. I really appreciate the time to introduce this to the world, and this is the first place we're doing this. So thank you, guys. This is a great opportunity.
Well, thank you, because I think you've found a little a space where I certainly, if I was looking at it and I think to myself, I don't know how to step into it. How do you do it?
Exactly. I imagine, I mean, the goal is we want to help thousands of young people and people of all ages get into the remote tech industry and thrive in it. And there's so much opportunity. It's only going to get more. And so we want to keep that up.
And I think next week we should probably discuss my charity that helps young people. It's a halfway house for girls that don't go all the way. So I think we should have that as a course as well. We're going to write a course on that. I think
that'll be an ancillary course. That'll be
a special course that I'll be teaching. Yes, it'll be good. So no, it's good. Lots of lawsuits coming. I can't wait. But anyway, all kidding aside, no, this is wonderful. Michael, thank you for taking the time and doing this.
Thank you, Michael. And I agree with Stephen. It'd be great if somebody who's been on the course will come back on, and then we can just rip it all apart, and because that's going to be
the course. It's only $450 in the pre-sale.
I'm excited. I'm surprised he's not offering a discount to the fans of Two Old Farts. I'm thinking there should be like a 10% discount.
If we can, so Two Old Farts will be the code. Two Old Farts will be the code for your discount. Okay. For your 10% Two Old Farts discount.
There you go. Okay. So now the question is, do you want him to use the number 2 or spell out Two Old Farts?
Spell it out. All
right. Two Old Farts. You get the 10% discount. We'll put that in the notes. So there you go, people. We've just taken out of $450. We took $45 off the course for you. It's $400 or $405. Yeah. What else can we do here at Two Old Farts? Would you like us to take the course for you as well? Get your butts out of the chair. Click the button. Click the links. And do something with your life, sitting around 24 years old in the basement of your mom's house, smoking the ganja, playing video games all day.
Get out there.
Get out there and get a job.
Get out there.
So
Stop playing the Bandicoot and start learning the Bandicoot.
That's right.
That's what I'm
Start
saying.
learning the
there you go. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Michael, it's a pleasure. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you,
Stay on after we say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, well,
David, always good. This show
Yeah.
will end up. Thanksgiving's coming, but this will be after Thanksgiving, and then Michael will be back.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
Stephen, is this number 50?
This is actually no. This is 51. Nushi's show that just went live a few moments ago is show number 50.
he snatched 50.
Wow.
All right, but I got
Yeah.
51. That's pretty
You
good.
got 51. Yep.
Yeah.
The 100's
and-
the biggie. We got 49 more shows now.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here.
Oh, well, let's hope it's something. Some hill is from here. Anita Hill.
Yeah,
would
well,
be nice.
uphill is a Zimmer frame where, so, but I like the downhill bits better.
There you go. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thank you both for your time
Yes.
today. Everybody, it was good seeing you on our channel. If you
Thank you very
hit
much.
the like button, subscribe, tell your friends. Don't tell your friends. We don't care. But this course is wonderful. The links are below. And then you get a discount by mentioning 2 Old Farts. And well, Michael will come back January, February with some of his success stories. And then you guys can say, oh, this is even better. And there you go.
Yeah, maybe we can do a question and answer. Maybe a few
Q&A.
Also, people have got questions that they want to ask Michael anyway. You can put that in the comments below this as well.
And we'll do a live show next time with Michael if you want. And then this way people can actually
we can actually fire off some questions to him as
Yeah.
well. And in the meantime, Michael, thank you so much for
Thanks,
being on the
guys.
show today. Same to you, Stephen. Thank you for your
Always a
time.
pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And until the next time on 2 Old Farts.
Cheers.